This is Stephanie, and this is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Hey guys, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know about something that's a little new here at the Mocha Minutes Podcast. We are now participating in Buy Me a Coffee. So if you haven't heard, buymeacoffee.com is a place where you can show some support and some love monetarily to some of your favorite content creators. That includes me. So it's in the increments of either $1, $3, or $5, and you can do as many as you would like. So I just wanted to let you guys know, would love some support. So if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/Mocha Minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in the show notes. Okay, here we go. So here we are alone again. Didn't think it'd come to this. And to know it all began with just a little kiss. I've come too close to happiness to have it swept away. Don't think I can take the pain. Never fall again. Kinda late in the game, but my heart is in your hands. Don't you stand there and then tell me you love me, then leave again. 'Cause I'm falling in love with you again. Hold me, hold me. Don't ever let me go. Say it just one time. Say you love me. God knows that I do love you again. Hello, welcome to the Mocha Minutes Podcast. I'm Stephanie. Thanks for joining me. I have a little different earworms, and sometimes I start at the beginning of the song, or the end, or where Michelle Williams thrives, the bridge. And I'm pretty sure y'all know this song. It's towards the end. It's literally towards the end of the song. But literally, my favorite one of these are GOAT lyrics, okay? There's a few songs that have goated lyrics. Again, by Janet Jackson is one of those things. For me, when I tell you, don't you stand there and then tell me you love me, then leave again. We could talk about Janet, tone, and y'all could call her a whisper singer. When I tell you, that is kind of like, it's like, don't stand and tell me you love me and then leave me again. Girl, I will beat your ass. That's how it sounds. But I kind of feel this way about Hurts Like Hell from the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. And it's Aretha. Oh, here we are, a true love. But that's not the part that I think is goated. Goated is, ain't nothing funny with this killing you. Ain't nothing funny. When your heart is completely broken, shit ain't cute and shit ain't funny. Ain't nothing funny about this. I'm sorry. Waiting to Exhale soundtrack is just that girl. There's few soundtracks that I'm like, it's that girl. Waiting to Exhale. Honorable mention to Set It Off, because there's a lot of good ones on there. The Best Man soundtrack, of course. The Bodyguard, girl. Bah, it's so good. Also, if y'all want to check out another soundtrack, check out the Black Panther soundtrack. Just saying. I'm a soundtracky girl. I really am. But yeah, welcome back to the show. So there's a reason why this earworm is that artist, and that artist is chosen. We're going to get to her probably towards mid-key, high-key. But let's start out. Hopefully everybody's doing well. But let's start a little bit low-key. So, stuff has been happening. It has. I'm not even going to go there. But let's start. I'm trying to think if I have any Bravo high notes. Wait, I do. All right, okay. So, I'm a Bravo watcher. I'm a Bravo-holic. I feel like special people are black Bravo-holics, most notably black women. But I like a lot of Bravo-holics. Ones that do not live their lives in Delulu, but have no problem watching people on Bravo be Delulu, if that makes sense. So I decided to catch up on Below Deck Med. Now, I'm somebody, like, I'm a house, like, when people hear black, like, Bravo, if they hear Bravo lovers, they automatically think Housewives. But there are other shows on Bravo that really are very entertaining and are long-standing. Below Deck and Below Deck, that franchise that has spawned Below Deck Med, Below Deck Sailing Yacht, Below Deck Get on My Nerves, Below Deck, hey, we going on a picnic ride. Yeah, all of those Below Decks. I like that. I'm wondering if Project Runway is going to come back. Top Chef is another one. And then, you got the Married to Medicine's Family Karma, Justice for Them, Southern Charm that has spread, Summer House, those kind of things, right? And I like to call it the boat show, Below Deck. Below Deck is the boat show. Below Deck, I say like, Below Deck, original one. I say that's original recipe. So Below Deck has a lot of different names. So I'm caught up on Below Deck because I didn't realize I was like maybe 3 or 4 episodes behind. So I watched all the way up into the finale. And I've been saying this all season. I'd have popped Ellie by now. Ellie is... See, the thing about it is when it comes to Delulu, I love me a Delulu. A Delulu. Anybody on a reality show that lives in Delulu, it's no happy medium. And I really like them, or it really is like, girl, what the hell? So people who are like completely Delulu, but I kind of dig them. And this is going to sound so funny because I'm only saying this based on her arguments. Meredith from Salt Lake, I swear her arguments are so Delulu, but I enjoy it because I just want to see her but I adore watching her argue people. I'm like, girl, what is happening? I'm sorry, what is happening? To a certain extent, for some people, Teresa from Jersey is a little bit Delulu. Karen Huger, Delulu, because I'd be like, Karen, what the hell are you talking about? See, people like either they have, when they're in the confessionals, they see shit that just sounds Delulu, or they in scenes they are just acting Delulu. Usually, I love them. Those are the ones that I really like, and I enjoy. Another Delulu, probably. I know y'all probably saying this about her. That she's having a good season. Is Shannon from Orange County. Sometimes Kyle from Beverly Hills is definitely Delulu. Okay. So this, like, Delulu folks, some folks I really, really like. And then there are Delulu folks like Ellie from Below Deck Med. Or, because this was me, and it was only based on her last argument with Kyle when they were sitting at the table. She brought up her dad, and then she started yelling at Kyle for bringing up her dad. And I was like, but you're the one who brought it up. Was Hannah from Summer House. So if I want to rank my likable Delulu and annoying Delulu. So if you have any annoying Delulus or likable Delulus, you let me know. Hit my DMs, because I'm not the only person who feels like that. But usually I like watching Delulu people until I can't stand them, because let me tell you something. Ellie has been Delulu this whole season. Ma'am. I have no boating experience, and I know I would outshine your ass. I don't understand why Ellie is so insecure about things. Like, if someone is not patting her on the back, it throws her off, and I'm not exactly sure. The fact that by the end of the season, Bree has established a pattern for laundry is hilarious to me. Again, that is likable, Delulu, because I'm like, girl, I'd have fired her ass so quick. It's like, you can't manage laundry, and that's the majority of what you do, except for cleaning, flipping cabins. You're doing fucking laundry. I'm sorry. How long did? I'm sorry. I'm even getting annoyed thinking about it. I'm like, girl, I'd have fired her. Would I have fired Chef Jonathan? No. When I tell you, now I'm sitting here like, and he definitely would be. That's the thing. He deserves to be reprimanded about the fish. You serving raw fish to somebody who he's like, oh, it would kill me, and I'm like, because she said raw fish would kill me, and I can't remember when she said raw fish. She said raw fish for a reason, but here's the but. I think she's saying she has a fish allergy, but she said raw fish. But I think she did have a fish allergy. So it's like, whether it's raw or cooked, you could have unalived, like she could have went into anaphylactic shock. Is that a fireable offense if that person went into anaphylactic shock? Yeah. The boat could also get sued. So I think that's the other. But it also was too late in the charter season to find a chef. I think when we think about people who get fired, it's easy to find new stews and decks, it seems. But chefs seem to be an issue. And even with that withstanding, and I think there was a time where he served a cookie for dessert, and I was like, oh, it is a yacht. I get it. It is a yacht. I was like, that is literally the least offensive dessert I've ever seen on Below Deck since inception. So there's that. There are people who have screwed up cakes. Like, for some odd reason, there was like a running theme on Below Deck. For some reason, the chefs could not do a cake to save their lives. Not exactly sure why. I don't know why cake was like a thing. And the thing about it is, I feel like when it comes to chefs, the best chef was Chef Rachel, and I'm like kind of mad that I don't know what the hell would happen behind the scenes of Below Deck, but we lost Chef Rachel, and I don't like that. Period. Chef Jono is not even like top 10 most terrible chefs to come through Below Deck in any inception, and he's not even classically trained. We got people who actually went to get traditionally and classically trained in culinary school that he would outshine. It's so crazy to me. It every time I think about it. I'm kind of glad the season is over, but when I tell you, Ellie would have got on my nerves. It's like, who are you talking to? Because the thing about it is, she's talking off both sides of her ass. On one hand, she was telling Brie, I am second stew and I outrank you. I'm like, this is why, and I can understand why Aisha does this. She don't do ranks. I can understand chief stews who say, I'm not doing ranks. We're all going to be one team. I can see why, because you'll get an Ellie who will look at like, I'm second stew, so I'm this. And I'm like, girl. And the fact that it took so long in the season for Aisha to be told that Ellie is acting like she's somebody's boss is so crazy to me. It took Carrie coming onto the boat to say, girl, this is what Ellie said to me. And the thing about it is, hopefully it was a light bulb to Aisha, like, wait a minute, she's saying that if she's doing this with Carrie, has she been doing this to Brie this entire time? The answer to the question is yes. But I really hadn't tweeted about it when I was watching it, but yesterday, or was it Sunday? What is today? Yeah, it was, so I had caught up. So I was just in here like, girl, she, personally and professionally, it was like Ellie was just doing Delulu, annoying Delulu stuff. Because I'm like, and the fact that somebody in the finale said, it's not about you, Ellie. It's not all about you. And it's like, oh, baby. It's not all about you. It's like, but that's the thing. It's not, that has been the theme of the season, when it's like when you watch Ellie and how she interacts in her confessionals. So yeah, I need, not everything's about you, Ellie. I need that as merchandise. I need her also to know this. Oh, by the way, and I don't know, she may have unliked it, who knows. But homegirl liked my tweet and then retweeted it, and I was like, not you liking that I'm saying you a bozo. Because that's just how I feel. I'm like, you are a bozo. It's like, girl, I need, not everything is about you, Ellie. I need that. I need it. I need it. I need it on a shirt. I need it on every shirt possible. I need y'all to tell me what is going on. I do. I need it. I need it. So yeah, she may have unliked it and unretweeted. I don't know. She may have blocked me. I wasn't looking. Because one, I don't follow her. So I was like, is that oh my God, it's her. I'm proud of Aisha. And Sandy was and I know Sandy is a micromanager. She always has been. But I think she has started listening to the comments, because I didn't see her really doing micromanaging stuff. She was like managing, because that deck team was not solid and they kept screwing up all the way to the damn end when something happened right before Sandy's proposal. I was like, girl, what the hell is going on here? Your deck crew has been screwing up. You have a bosun and a lead, and it's like, and that was established early. I'm like, girl, what is this? Anyway, I think that's the only Bravo high note that I have. Or maybe I had more. I don't know. Whew. I just, yeah. So I think that's my Bravo high notes. Oh wait, no, I have another one. There are these pictures of Candy in this red dress. I said, come on, Candy. You make me call you Candace. Come on, Candace. And Candy really is her real name. But she looks so good. And honestly, I'm sitting here like, I am so glad she's off the show. That's all I'm thinking. I'm so glad. I like seeing housewives who choose to go, you're like, you know what? I'm out. And they leave, and then they flourish. I love this. I'm going to love this for Kitty when it happens, because I'm seeing Candace. She got her little bump. I'm like, she's adorable. She's out here living her best life. And oh, by the way, her and the scholar are actually friends off camera. I love seeing this for all of us. And I'm not exactly sure why people are coming for Ascala, because one, I liked her on the show, but I don't know why y'all are like, oh, she wasn't given so much. She was a friend of. She wasn't main cast. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Never mind. I know what's wrong with y'all. Anyway. I think I'm trying to think if there's any more for Bravo. Oh, he's so handsome. Let me see. I'm trying to. I think so. I think that might be all for Bravo, at least for right now. Knowing y'all, knowing Bravo, shit is going to be coming up. I mean, it's just going to. Let's see. Yep, nope, that's all for Bravo. And I also want to know if anybody is watching Love and Marriage Detroit. I have not started watching this season, but according to Millie-chan, she pulled up the I guess the viewership, and a lot of people aren't watching it either. So I'm gonna give you my 2 cents about oh wait, I'm sorry, I do have more Bravo, but let me finish Detroit. Last season it was like Detroit came on, I think it was like they were showing Huntsville and Detroit at the same time. When I tell you I could not watch while Huntsville was on, I had to wait and nope, let Huntsville finish, and then, because watching an hour of Huntsville and then an hour of Detroit was like, I did it once and I was like, this is something I could never do again. I'm like, it's way too many He-Man women haters in 2 hours of television. I can't do it. So I didn't do a recording, and I kind of caught up and just binged it. Wasn't terrible. It wasn't that great, but it was not terrible. I will say that. Was it better than DC? Yeah, that's debatable. But it's like DC has such a big gap of time to return. I don't even know how to feel. So I still haven't started watching Detroit, but it sounds like y'all not watching Detroit either. But those men are, whew, Lord. I feel like the interview process is, hey, hi, how do you feel about women? And then you hear how some of them may have very outdated, or I'm going to say outdated because they'll say traditional, but it's really outdated. Because traditionally, misogyny ran rampant across this land and every land. So saying, I got traditional values. You mean back when women were like literally second class citizens? If you were a black person, you were like a fifth class. You were 3/4 of a person. You mean like that? See how that works? So I think that's part of the interview process, but never mind. And also, happy birthday, Irena. I want you in. I really want Irena and Ashley to become friends again, but that's not allowing for people to be people. Is it a wish I would like? Of course. Will it happen? Not exactly sure, but I do enjoy the friendship between Ashley and Winter that we're not going to see because Winter's not coming back. Okay, so let's the other thing about, I feel like I didn't mention this, was Dubai. So Dubai won. I didn't realize how short their season was going to be, and they had a 2-part reunion. I thought, based on my love, I thought it was going to be by the end team Sand. So not being team Ayan or team Lisa. And I remain team Sand. Because quite frankly, when it comes to Dubai, their arguments on their reunion don't make sense because a lot of their issues are from behind the scenes. Girl, we don't know what you're talking about. And then the first thing is like, we say, oh, we're a team the other person. Well, y'all don't see everything. But if I was on your team, that would not matter. Because you'd be fine. Know what? Everybody's fine with being on a team with not the whole picture, as long as you're on their team. If you're team the other person, well, y'all don't know the whole story. But if I was on your side, me not having the whole story would not matter to you. Because you'd be fine with someone being on your... See how that works? The reunion left more questions than answers because I feel like y'all really didn't resolve anything. And, oh, shout out to Salt Lake. I'm glad Meredith said this. A lot of shit was not resolved. I'm like, yeah, I thought I was the only one that knows that too. This is what reunions used to be. You used to come to a reunion and resolve stuff during the season. But as of late, a lot of these reunions, they're not. You're not resolving anything. You're talking about stuff, stirring stuff up, and then stuff is still seriously stirred up by the time the camera stopped rolling. Y'all got more questions than answers. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's the questions. And I think it also doesn't help that now, I have a very complicated relationship with Andrew, but I think the reason being is that when people are in the thick of arguing, he'll just say, okay, we're just going to move on. Like, okay, that's not resolve anything because you don't want to hear them argue. That's not resolution. That is you, girl, like, I'm tired of hearing you bitches argue. But to give him grace, sometimes arguments are just, they basically, this is how this argument is going. This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. It literally is that song. So he's going to have to cut it. I get it. But yeah, Dubai left me very much like, I need y'all to fix this. Period. I don't need, like, you and Ian. It's like, I don't care when you knew. It's like, the thing about it is, it's nuances on both sides of their argument. And the thing about it is, they don't need a camera. Y'all need to figure this out off camera. Back in the sand, back in Dubai, away from any bitch named Caroline and that woman named Sarah who likes to be extremely patronizing with everybody. The fact that Saba had to do it like, our relationship is over. I'm like, girl, we don't care. I didn't realize they were like, the fact that none of that even came up during the reunion, because I'm like, what happened with you and Saba? But Saba's not a cast member, so I guess the reason why we're not hearing anything. Anyway, moving on. No, I'm kidding. But I also didn't realize that Dubai's on a bubble of not being brought back. I had no idea that was a thing. I didn't realize. So I just it was just more questions than answers, and I'm like, I want reunions to come back to actually being places for resolution. I need it to come back to that. I need that to come back. So, low key, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I need to do more research when it comes to Marcellus Williams, that the man that was unalived in Missouri. He had been on death row. His family had been trying to get clemency, or basically get it overturned to just change to life in prison, which was very interesting. But they're trying to get stop his execution. It didn't happen, so he was actually unalived this week. I should have did my due diligence, and I did not. Shout out to my girl Cook for always doing her due diligence, and also making sure her friends don't look like Boo Boo the Fool. That's what you actually do. But you do it the way that she did it, and she knows what she did. Because that's my bitch, and that's what it is. It is what it is. Right? Executions of prisoners are always hard for me, only because I'm like inmates on death row, they can be there for decades, and it's like, so, and the thing about it is, sometimes there are people who are like on death row, and maybe they leave this plane before the actual execution. I'm like, when it comes to the death penalty, I'm definitely anti. I've always kind of felt that way, because either you do it, literally shoot, like, if you're going to do this, then do it the same day. Do not leave them sitting in a damn jail cell for decades. Y'all, states or federal, collecting money for it. And then execute. I'm like, girl, where the firing squad? Put them out of their misery right now. I also don't want that to happen. So, you see my dilemma. It's like, oh, gosh. I don't know. I'm just like, what's the point? It's like, you're just going to girl, I can't. But the Innocence Project, they did their due diligence. Like, think about it, the people who are getting the word out, all the activists, the Innocence Project, they're trying to get this out, and it just doesn't happen. It kind of is sad, because the thing about it is, the Innocence Project, they're not going to go, oh, well, this didn't work, we're done with, like, we're never going to do this again. They're going to keep going. Because unfortunately, there is way too many stories and cases of people who are sitting in jail and they don't belong there. They're innocent, they got railroaded, they got coerced, all these things. Whew, Lord. I also have been watching way too much Law and Order SVU. It's not, that was a nervous laugh. It's like, but so shout out to everybody who works at the Innocence Project, because that is a lot, that has to be a labor of love. You can't just, things like this, you don't do it for the paycheck. You do it because you feel like it's the right thing to do. It's a passion. You have to have a heart for people to work on something like this, because that, like doing all this work, it will literally rip your soul out. So I don't know, but yeah, it's a lot going on when it comes to Marcellus Ross. I'm bringing this up because I saw this on the Conscious Lee's page, where I think it was an activist that was working with the Innocence Project, said, I'm tired of y'all, F y'all, because I think this was like the rubber band snap from this lady when it comes to Marcellus Williams. And she said, I'm not going to name no names, and then named the Conscious Lee. It's like, I thought so you're not naming any celebrities who have a high legal team and they can literally sue you, but you're going to do it with the Conscious Lee because you think that he don't have one. You think he don't have a lawyer? He do. Is it as powerful as celebrities? No. Does he have a lawyer? Probably. So it's like, Yeah, like homegirl went scorched earth. She's like, F y'all. The rubber band snapped. And I will say this about Consciously. Many other black men who've been called out by people, they aren't as nice and gracious as he was. He's like, I could go off, but that's not helpful. I'm like, no, it's not. Would he have a right to go off? Yep. Should he have? Probably. I wouldn't have. Because I may not. The thing about it is, part of me probably wouldn't even responded to her. It's like, girl, I will just block you. See how that work? But she basically made it seem like it's their fault that this didn't happen. And I'm like, girl, I can see both sides of that. I could see why she's upset. Because again, it's like you're doing all this work and you're trying to save someone's life and it didn't pan out the way you wanted, and that's just sad and it's tragic. On the other hand, you think them not tweeting about something is the reason why this man is not here. You can't have it both ways. It's like it's their fault. So if it did work, would you have sat on the internet and congratulated them and said thank you for your assistance? I'm not exactly sure if you would have. And there's the rub. So it's kind of like she was just saying you only named him. And the thing about it is, here he come with the receipts like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? So shout out to the Consciously for not jumping down this woman's throat. Because you can defend yourself without defaming someone else. Listen to what I just said again. You can defend yourself without defaming someone else. You can. I know. Crazy to me too. But shout out, please send some love to the Innocence Project, everybody who works with that, because that's a lot. And I know in the last couple of weeks it's been a lot of, it has not panned out. Give those folks some grace, kind of like the Consciously did with this young lady. Give them some thoughts and pray for them, because this is a lot. Because literally trying to save someone's life and it just slips through your hands and this person is still unalived, that's got to weigh heavy on them. You just know, because that's a lot. There's a lot on that spirit. I know it is. Because they got to keep going. They didn't just do the Innocent Project for Marcellus Williams. They got other irons in the fire. They just do. But that's a lot. And as of today is September 26th. I'm doing this in the morning. The mayor of New York City has been indicted. Shout out to Aaron Rupert, who has a video. It's from CNN. He did a press conference after being indicted, and someone said, "You're a disgrace for all black people in this city." And I'm like, girl, here we go. This is my take on a lot of, like, when we have these kind of thoughts or people saying you lying, like basically if you're doing, like, if you are a high powered black person or a high powered person, or you represent an oppressed group and you do some, or you behave badly, meaning that you've done something bad, or maybe you've lied, say that you are someone who alleged somebody essayed you and you were lying. The theme is always like, this makes it harder for other victims to come forward. You are making it hard for other black people. And I'm talking about Mayor Adams. Now I'm going to say this right now. I hear y'all. Here's the other side to that. People can opt out of something they never opted into in the first place. So people who literally usually don't believe victims of SA or DV, when someone lies about it, they're like, oh, you're making it so much harder. They didn't believe them anyway. They never were of that mind of, I believe victims until I have a reason not to. They're just like, nah, especially if the allegations is to their demo. They don't believe them anyway. So it's kind of like they're waiting to not believe them. You can't say, like, oh, this is making it harder. You could say that on one hand. On the other hand, it's like, yeah, most people who are waiting to poke holes in this story because they don't believe victims anyway. I get it. You don't want to help them, but let's be very clear. A lot of people who have never if they don't, it's easy to opt out of something that you never opted into. So if you've never opted into believe victims until they give you a reason to, or whoever the best person to be in that position should be there, it's easy to opt out. You never opted in. So anybody who did not opt into Eric Adams being the mayor, yeah, they were waiting to get that Nick Gurr out. Okay? So Eric Adams, Lord, because it just happened. So let's see. The indictment literally just happened today. Right? He was indicted on federal crimes. Federal crimes. Oof, Lord, I hope. Let's see. Maybe he'll be on the same block with Papa Diddy Pop. All right, hold on. So I'm going to tell you exactly what he was indicted on. All right, hold on. So, New York City Mayor Eric Adams was indicted on 5 federal public corruption charges, including bribery and wire fraud. So, this is from CNN. This is as of this morning. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on 5 federal charges related to bribery, wire fraud, conspiracy, and soliciting campaign contributions from foreign nationals, according to a 57-page indictment unsealed Thursday morning. The indictment alleges illegal actions stretching back to 2014 from when he was Brooklyn Borough president. For nearly a decade, Adams sought and accepted improper valuable benefits, such as luxury international travel, including from wealthy foreign business people and at least one Turkish government official seeking to gain influence over him. Specifically, he received luxury travel and other benefits from a Turkish official and later pressured the New York City Fire Department to open a Turkish consular building without a fire inspection in exchange. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, is set to discuss the indictment at a news conference today. Adams said Thursday morning he was not surprised by the charges. I'm sorry, what? And encouraged the public to wait to hear our defense before making any judgments. I look forward to defending myself and defending the people of the city as I've done through my entire professional career. The indictment stems from a federal investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan scrutinizing his connection to Turkish officials and businessmen and campaign donations he received. The indictment represents a dramatic fall from grace for the mayor of America's largest city. Really? Huh, okay. And a stunning accusation against one of the nation's most high profile offices. Adams, a former NYPD captain. Oh, see, I watched him SSVU. Took office in January 2022 and presented himself as the new face of the Democratic Party, promising a tough-on-crime approach. He is from the NYPD, and a commitment to revitalizing the city after the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet he has struggled to resolve the city's key challenges, such as the migrant crisis and concerns about subway safety, and has faced criticism for his late-night partying, and clashes over city spending, particularly on education. He once described himself as the Biden of Brooklyn. But he has increasingly criticized the Biden administration and the federal government over its handling of immigration issues. Now, nearly 3 years into his first term, Adams's political career is in jeopardy, and several prominent New York political figures, including U.S. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, has already called for his resignation. If he were to resign, a job of America's most high-profile mayor will go to the city's public advocate, Jermaine, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing this person's name wrong, Williams, until a special election occurred. So in the indictment, it alleges that he received gifts and accepted illegal contributions to his campaign. In 2018, when Adams had announced his plans to run for New York City mayor, he allegedly accepted and sought illegal campaign contributions to his upcoming mayoral campaign. Businesses also circumvented the city's ban on corporate contributions by funneling their donations through multiple employees. A senior in the Turkish diplomatic establishment who facilitated many straw donations to the mayor also arranged for him and his posse. Did CNN just write posse? To receive free or discounted travel on Turkey's national airline, which is owned in significant part by the Turkish government, according to the indictment. Adams and his companions also received... Get out of here, girl. Poop. Adams and his companions also received... It's so funny. You ever read something, all of a sudden a pop-up come up, you're like, what the hell? Also received free rooms at opulent hotels, free meals at high-end restaurants, and free luxurious entertainment while in Turkey, court documents say. Adams did not disclose the travel benefits as required of New York City employees, the indictment alleges. In September 21, the Turkish officials told Adams it was his turn to repay him by pressuring the New York City Fire Department to facilitate the opening of a new Turkish consular building without a fire inspection, the indictment alleges. Adams then pressured the FDNY to approve the building. Further, the indictment states that Adams and co-conspirators tried to conceal their conduct, including by deleting messages and changing his phone password. So we're going to see, this just started today, so we're going to see how this snowball rolls downhill. So, look, I'm from Baltimore, so I'm not used to, but yeah, we also had a mayor indicted. And also they mentioned like multiple years. I'm talking about Catherine Pugh. So yeah, this is a lot for a Thursday. It's like, Lord have mercy. But yeah, Eric Adams has been very interesting for quite some time. Let's go into mid-key, shall we? So Janet Demita Jo Jackson had So Janet Jackson did an interview, and so part of her interview, she did an interview with The Guardian, and I think they mentioned, the person like, are you excited that, we may have a black female president? She said in the published article, it says Janet said, she's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. She didn't say I just said So she said, I haven't watched I keep saying sorry. I haven't watched the news in a few days, she added. So the thing about it is, the article is from The Guardian. Is it a long article? No, not really. Am I gonna read the whole article? Also, no. It's not a long. Oh, this is one picture here. She looks so adorable. She does. All right. Let me find, because I need to find something. Okay. So this is from the article. I'm gonna give you the part. This is the part about Kamala. On that record, she's saying, okay, I'm sorry, let me go up to Rhythm Nation, because the genesis of this conversation was about Rhythm Nation. On the Rhythm Nation album, for us, it was about making a difference in a kid's life, a teenager's life, from them taking this path with drugs and going down the wrong street to trying to make something of themselves. On that record, she sang about joining forces in protest to social injustice and pushing towards a world rid of color lines. I wonder where she stands on the forthcoming election. After all, I say, America could be on the verge of voting in its first black female president, Kamala Harris. Well, you know what they supposedly said, she asks. She's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian. She looks at me expectantly perhaps assuming that I have Indian heritage. Well, she's both, I offer. The I is the author of this article. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white. I'm floored at this point. It's well known that Harris's father is a Jamaican economist, a Stanford professor who split from her Indian mother when she was 5. My mother understood very well that she was raising 2 black daughters, Harris wrote in her book, The Truths We Hold. The people who are most vocal in questioning the fact of Harris's identity tend to be very hardcore QAnon-adjacent Trump-loving conspiracy theorists. I don't think Jackson falls into this camp, but I do wonder where the algorithms are serving what the algorithms are serving her. I start again. Harris has dual heritage, I say, and given this moment, does Jackson think America's ready for her? If we agree she's black or okay, a woman of color? I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to. This is Janet. I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to answer that because I feel truthfully, I really truthfully don't know. I think either way it goes is going to be mayhem. She doesn't think there will be a peaceful transition of power. I think there may be mayhem. Either way it goes, but we'll have to see. We have a few minutes left to wrap things up, so I throw some quick fire questions at her while we recalibrate. Now, that is what so that's the thing. That's basically the blurb in its somewhat entirety. And the thing about it is the person who interviewed her would have the whole story. He or she. Wait, I didn't see who wrote this. Because you can have a name and it's like, hey, that isn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Nasheen Iqbal. And it looks like this is a woman. Now, it's very interesting that she said most people who question her identity are QAnon Trump lovers. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think Nasheen or Notion, so I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this woman's name, has been in the Shade Room, the Jasmine Brand, the Neighborhood Talk comments. Because those folks are not QAnon folks. Some of them could be. Are they Trump lovers? No, but some of them are third party voters. Some of them are like, I don't vote ever. So that, I think that's where the Trump thing is coming in. But I find it hilarious to watch some of the people who flat out know Kamala's heritage, meaning they know she has a black dad and a Indian mom, and still say she's not black. But then coming at Janet and saying, how dare she say that I think her daddy is white. Y'all know her heritage and still said she wasn't black. Some of y'all. We're also, and the thing about it, I don't know, like this interview, her interview was published on the 21st. Not sure when this interview took place. So I don't know if it took place. I have a feeling it probably, if it's posted on the 21st, it probably was done before her brother passed away. So to what? So I'm still gonna say this. I find it very interesting that some of the people who know Kamala's VP Kamala Harris's heritage and still says she wasn't black are literally trying to pass judgment on Janet Jackson. I find y'all weird. But also, some of them same folks, when Trump said, I didn't know she was black, I thought she was Indian. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know. Y'all, some folks were literally saying, well, he got a point. He do? No, he don't. Because a lot of people are like, when did she ever say she wasn't black? Because Trump's thing was that he was saying that Trump's thing was he was like, I didn't know that she was black. Because he was like, is she Indian or is she black? I don't know. And the thing about it is, there were people who were giving Trump more grace than they're giving Janet Demeter Joe Jackson. One of those people was D.L. Hughley, but not Trump, but yeah. So let me just say this, and I need to say this very loudly. What Janet said about I heard her daddy was white is some bozo ass shit. No one is saying that it's not. However, What I am saying is that that's misinformation, but it's interesting. Other people who have given misinformation, Donald Trump, D.L. Hughley, and several people all across the internet, when it came to Kamala Harris, y'all gave misinformation about her too. But y'all going to try to check Demita Joe on giving misinformation? Okay. Because, hey, hi, I feel like, for the Boosies and the Charlemagnes and the DLs, the Angela Stantons, the Candace Owens, y'all will quickly say, oh, that's her. Oh, that's their opinions. I don't think this person's back. That's their opinion. But Demita Joe, y'all ready to ring her up saying, wait a minute, what about your Caucasian nose? And I'm like, is that what we're doing? Or saying like, we don't say that because, I mean, look at your family. Y'all not white either. Last time I checked, Joe and Catherine are 2 black people. So they're still black. I don't, like, they have 2 black parents. So I'm like, I don't know why y'all doing that. But okay. All right. So what Whoopi on The View said, it wasn't that she said that what Demita said was okay. I'm sorry, I keep saying Demita. So what Janet, she wasn't saying that what Janet was saying was okay. She was just like, yeah, she's in the middle of mourning. I'm not doing this with y'all. It's like, because one, I'm glad Whoopi said, I have been wrong. And I got checked. I'm not doing this with Demita. See how easy that is? Because one, no, the thing about it is, if you've ever been checked publicly and said something and you were wrong, you are not quick to do that to other people. Because you get how, one, somebody can tell you something wrong, you can hear something wrong, you can misinterpret something and then pass along that misinterpretation. And then it's like people check you. It's like, what you going to like? Well, I was wrong. And I'm sorry. See how easy that is? Apparently someone put out a statement saying she's sorry. And then they were like, he don't speak for me. And he said, I got fired. I was like, yeah, because I know you work for this person. You're the PR. But let's be very clear. You still got to clear it with them. You can't just put it out. You can do it on their behalf, but you still got to tell them. Because that's how easy that is. Because I'm like, if it's an apology and it works, I probably wouldn't have said anything. But yeah, you still got to clear it with your client. Like, I don't understand. When it comes to what happened with Janet, 2 things can be true at the exact same time. Y'all are putting 20... Wait, I'm sorry. Let me rewind. 2 things can be true. What she said was some bozo ass shit. And y'all look real funny trying to put 20 on 10 on Janet doing misinformation when y'all have let other people cook. And a lot of them are like, DL is one of them. DL put out misinformation for quite some time on Kamala. On Kamala and VP Harris and her record in California, her record, like basically her reputation, right? You put out misinformation, that stuff had been debunked. You still didn't care. And I feel like the only reason why you apologize is because you got a ticket to the DNC. I'm like, I felt to not only be at the DNC, but actually speak on the stage. And I feel like your invitation comes with you apologizing to VP Harris. And that's exactly what happened. But the thing about it is, people allowed him to cook for years. How long was Kamala in California? Years. She's been VP for 4. So for years, you have been perpetuating or moving forward misinformation about Kamala. But y'all are sitting very... y'all a bunch of contradictory canaries, or contrary, like, you know, we call somebody who's a contrarian just to be contrarian, a contrarian canary. But some folks, and I'm not talking about so here's the thing. Let me say this. Tap this. If you are somebody who always calls out misinformation, I'm not talking about you. So I'm like, we're not talking about the folks who stay on anybody who does misinformation. So meaning they called out Demita Joe because they called out DL. They calling out Demita Joe because they called out Charlemagne. They calling out DL because they calling out Flame Monroe. They calling out Demeter Joe because if they always say, girls, what you're going to do is stop passing misinformation because it's dangerous. And this is what we're talking about. Because notice she was like, I heard, someone told me. And if you think nobody didn't tell Janet Jackson that, I have a vineyard in California to sell you. That's how misinformation don't happen in a vacuum. She didn't just pull that out of her ass. I bet you somebody did tell her that. That's how misinformation works. Misinformation travels faster and more broad than correct information. Kind of like a random ass group of white people in Ohio saying, I'm missing a cat, and then like joking amongst themselves that their Haitian neighbors stole and ate their cat. People are making up videos showing a Haitian person roasting a cat when it was like a pig, if I'm not mistaken. Then for the person whose cat, the person who said, I think my Haitian neighbor stole and ate my cat, to say, oh, my cat turned up. Your cat ran away because cats do what the fuck they want to do and came back. But the damage had already been done. Because one, that deranged circus peanut decided to repeat that misinformation. It got wider outside of your little group in Ohio. His VP selection also perpetuated that. And then you saw Haitian people being just treated poorly. They had bomb threats. People were being attacked because of misinformation. That is why misinformation is so dangerous. Because one, you saying that, and then the person whose Facebook page that someone found it, because y'all are stupid, because you think like you could just say this shit and nobody's ever going to find out. That person that said, I apologize, basically it was like, you apologize because you were getting attacked. Because how long had you been saying that? How old was that post? You're like, that wasn't mine. I'm like, I wasn't trying to demonize Haitian people. That wasn't my intention. The question is, what was your intention? Because hi, if you think you're like, girl, I heard my friend is so crazy. They can't find a cat. Why are they trying to say it's like their neighbor took it? Girl, your neighbor ain't. Because notice, you didn't have to bring up that the neighbor was Haitian. You brought that up. And you're saying, oh, I heard that from somebody. I heard that from several different people. So basically, it wasn't them that did it. They heard it from their friend, allegedly. So see how misinformation moves. It moves so quick. And it moves quicker than correct information. So that is why it's dangerous. So the thing about it is, people calling out to me, it depends on the source. If you're like a Hope Giselle, you're like a Diamond Styles, y'all call out misinformation, but also can extend grace where you're like, look, I'm calling this out. Because I still remember, like, I just named 2 people who love Dave Chappelle. They still called his ass out. Why? Because what he did was wrong. Period. To them, it was wrong. But that didn't stop them from being like, and actually saying, it really hurts because I love Dave Chappelle and his stand-up. And I'm watching him do something that is so harmful to me. You're like, that's the thing. Sometimes like your faves fuck up. And you gotta actually just call them out. Did Janet fuck up? Yep. See that. But I'm watching some of y'all be fake and phony about this. That is my issue. Because one, Trump has been given misinformation for a long time. But the one that you agree with, you're fine with. Because one, even then, y'all still say, like, what's wrong with that? She ain't black. I'm like, wait, time out. Y'all can't say Demeter Joe's dead ass wrong and then say, well, I mean, I know her daddy black and her mama Indian, but she ain't black in my eyes. See how that work? You're not all that different from Janet. She just saying her daddy white. Y'all know this woman lineage and still saying she black. She not black. Y'all can be quiet. Right the hell now. Just saying. All right. So I don't know why I put this in the high key, but I did. And I gotta get with my girl Cook, because we gotta unpack. We need some unpacking. We need we need a state of African American. Like, we need, girl, we about to close the gates for some of y'all. Okay, we about to close it. Some of y'all might be on like the first circle, kind of like, like this is Omashu. No, Omashu. Oh God, it's the Earth Kingdom where they had like different rings. Like, one of y'all gonna be on the lower rings, okay? Oh, I'm blanking on it, and I'm an Avatar super fan, and I can't think of the name. It's not Omashu. That is where Boomy was from. Ba Sing Se. Sorry, it took me a minute. Yeah, one of y'all gonna be in outer rings. Like, this is Ba Sing Se. Okay, y'all gonna be in the lower rings. For the 2025 Super Bowl, the halftime performer is going to be Kendrick Lamar. The 2025 Super Bowl is going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana. For some odd reason, the narrative that was put out as soon as Kendrick was announced as the performer was that this was a direct slight to Lil Wayne. Okay. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this. Lil Wayne, and it's so funny because I am so used to my fave rappers that I've been listening to for at least 15, 20 years to be older than me. Lil Wayne is 2 years younger than me. Well, I'm sorry. It's 1 year. His birthday is not until the 27th. So, and I didn't realize he was 5'5". I'm like, now I want to hug him and nuzzle him in my bosom. But yeah, Lil Wayne has been, I've known about Lil Wayne for literally at least 20 years or longer, right? So I'm a Wayne fan. Tunchi, I love Lil Wayne's music. I still remember, hence people gave him a lot of grace when he said, "Don't say no Black Lives Matter to me. My Black Lives Matter, man, and so do my bitches." Something like that nature. Very much like, I'm no activist. And people are like, "No, that's right, he ain't no activist." I'm like, okay, dope. It's like, okay. So y'all let this man cook. Because what he was saying in that interview was anti-black, and it was. But a lot of people were giving him a lot of grace on that. The grace that I wish that y'all would give to Janet. That, right? I'm not exactly sure how this narrative spun to Kendrick being chosen and not Lil Wayne is a direct slight to Lil Wayne. It's a direct, like, it was directly to harm Lil Wayne. I am not sure how we got to that. I know one of the captains of that ship was Nicki. It was all when Juvie said it too, and it was like, man, why we ain't picked Wayne? I was like, oh boy. But I think the difference between like the other folks that spoke out is that the only person who like directly attacked Jay-Z was Nicki. Juvie was just like, this is like a slight. Like, what the hell? Now, if you have been watching Super Bowl halftime shows, it is a 15-minute set for someone to come out and just do, it's a medley. Sometimes they come out with guests. Sometimes it's a group of people. Sometimes it is just one person. They may bring out, like, they may just do it by themselves. But it's been a wide range. Like, Usher was there last year. Let me see. I think. Let's see. I'm trying to think because I kind of don't remember. Ugh. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, he did. He did bring out guests because Alicia Keys was there. So he brought out Alicia Keys, will.i.am, Little John, Ludacris, and her. Rihanna was the year before. She brought out no guests. Enjoy it. So it's kind of like it can run the gamut. I think Prince didn't have any. But yeah. I think it runs, like, when it comes to halftime shows, it runs the gamut. Now, for some odd reason, this has become like, let's talk about how this is a grave injustice to Lil Wayne. The halftime show has never gone by, oh, it's in this city, so somebody affiliated with this city should do it. Usually they just pick somebody hot, or somebody is long overdue. So let me say this. I am someone that really wish it didn't take till 2023 for Usher to be the halftime performer, because Usher could do it. And I think him doing his Las Vegas residency showed that to everyone else. It's like, yeah. I was like, Usher had a Las Vegas residency. Hopefully it comes back, but I think right now he's on tour across the country. That dictated, like, oh, if he can do like a residency, he can do a 15-minute halftime show. Yeah, hey, hi, hello, duh, and hello. We told you about Usher Raymond IV. Okay. So I'm glad it finally happened. Here's the deal. I'm going to say this because I want this to happen. In my mind, another person who's overdue the halftime show because they can do it, it will be phenomenal, is Missy Elliott. It took MTV a very long time to give her the Video Vanguard Award. It should have been given to her like at least 10 years ago. Missy, for me, in my mind, is on the list of people that, when the hell is she going to headline a halftime show? She has been at a halftime show, but she's never headlined one, and I'm like, it's overdue. Honestly, it's overdue. Now, would I have enjoyed a Lil Wayne halftime show? Absolutely, because all I'm thinking is, oh, then we can get a Hot Boys reunion. He can bring out Juvie. He can bring out Nicki. He can bring out Drake. It's a lot of, Birdman can come out there. It's a lot of people he can bring out. I think maybe Future too. It's like, Wayne could bring out a lot of people for the halftime show. So I don't know if it was for like selfish purposes that's why that lady said that. And it could just be her opinion. But to say like, oh, I'm like, oh, it's in New Orleans. How dare you not pick Wayne? This is a grave injustice. I'm like, wait, what? Because here's the deal. The last time I was in New Orleans was 2013. The headliner for that show was Beyonce. That was 11 years ago. Now, what 11 years ago, and I said, I'm like, I don't remember you getting all that upset. I'm like, it was 11 years ago, and I think, Nicki was kind of like, but she also had songs with Beyonce, so no, she ain't gonna come after her. But for some odd reason, she thinks it's okay to keep coming after her husband, and I really do think this has something to do with Megan. I'm like, in some weird way, I had something to do with it. But if you think you can make music or have any kind of relationship now with Beyonce after you coming after her husband and her business, girl, I have 3 vineyards in California to sell you. The thing about, I don't think she really cares. The thing about it may, having a relationship with the Carters probably ain't even on her radar. Because the thing about it is, you have no problem attacking this woman's husband, but we're literally telling people to shut the fuck up when they were talking about yours. You literally stirred up your own fandom, allegedly, to come after his accuser. She's not a girl's girl. She never has been. The thing about it is, like, if Wayne was my man, I don't think I would be any different. But I don't think I would be directly attacking Jay-Z, because she literally could have said, "Damn, it's in New Orleans, man. We could have had, man. We need Weezy F Baby." I'm like, or better yet, you say, when is Weezy ever going to get his chance? See how that's not attacking anybody directly. So it's like, I wanted, like, you want to ask, but then I also don't want to ask. I'm like, I don't know why you attacking him, but that's neither here nor there. So basically saying Jay-Z is the reason why we will not have, like, nope, he did this on purpose. Forgetting something very, very big. At the 2022 Super Bowl, it was headlined by Dr. Dre. Now, Dr. Dre has not made any new music in God knows how long. A lot of stuff came out about around this time, about his children, his wife, the divorce. People knew about his background with allegedly with other women back in the day, and he allegedly could not keep his paws off of them. D-Bar, people know the D-Bars and Michelet, and that stuff is out there. We're never going to negate that, because why would we? But that halftime show was 2022. This was after Jay-Z stepped in and to basically help pick the halftime performer. Now, whether he sets up the list or approves the final say or approves the person that the city wants, because I think the whole city, they do have a choice on or a list of people they want. I don't know if Jay-Z basically picks off the list they provided and said, oh yeah, that person, or after it's discussed, like, hey, we want this person. Yeah, that's fine. Blip, blip, let me sign it. We can start it. After the year that Kendrick has had, to me, it seemed like a no-brainer. To me. So, at the 2022 halftime show, which was so good, Dr. Dre was the headliner, and this was in Inglewood, California. So I think a lot of it was like, oh, this is wonderful. Because it was in California. It's in Inglewood. Makes total sense. He brought out Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, 50 Cent, and Anderson .Paak. Totally made sense. The thing about it is, it's like, that totally makes sense to me. I don't think, because I don't, offhand, and I can Google this to see if Dr. Dre and Ice Cube still are cool or have a relationship. Offhand I don't remember. But I'm looking at this list like, yup, this works. And it was such a good show. It was choreographed by Fatima Robinson, who's been in the game for quite some time. She is a very good choreographer. So it was good. You look at that show. Now, I just listed all those people. Do you honestly think that would have happened without Jay-Z's input or his involvement? Y'all forget that. When I saw the 2022 Super Bowl with Dr. Dre headline, and after it, all I was thinking is, this is a complete course correction for the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm sorry, when the Super Bowl was in Atlanta, and their halftime performer was Maroon 5. And I think one of the special guests was Big Boy. But it was a gross oversight to not have Usher, Lil Jon, Ludacris, Jermaine Dupri. You could have did Jermaine Dupri, and do you know who the fuck he would have brought out of Atlanta? I felt like the 2022 course correction, the 2022 halftime show was a course correction for that Super Bowl in Atlanta. I'm sorry, what year was that? I'm actually looking up right now. Super Bowl halftime. Yeah, it was the 2019. So that's only 3 years later. I still remember going like, y'all dropped the ball. And I honestly, I'm sorry, they brought out Big Boy and Travis Scott. But Big Boy is from, when you think about Atlanta, Outkast, Big Boy, yeah, you think about him. That was only 3 years after. I remember it's like, wait a minute, y'all got all these people in Atlanta and you did Maroon 5? The saying. It was like, girl, what is this? So it felt like it was a course correct. Because let's be very clear. Do you honestly think they would have had that hip-hop heavy halftime show without someone of Jay-Z's caliber involved? So, we're going to look at all this. We're going to look at who has performed. We're going to keep going. I'm going to go back let's go back a few years. Nope. Let's start with, it's 2000. Let's start with 2000s. In 2000, it was, oh, Lord, a tapestry of nations that I did not realize that this is a thing. I'm like, I didn't realize it had themes. Okay. So 2000, it was Phil Collins, Christina Aguilera, Enrique Iglesias, Toni Braxton, and an 80-person choir. This was in Atlanta. In 2001, it was the Kings of Rock and Pop. It was Aerosmith, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Mary J. Blige, and Nelly. This was in Florida. Now, I find that very interesting because I'm like, I think Jam Master Jay may not have been here. I don't remember. But how you got Aerosmith and y'all have Run DMC? You know what? Let me shut up. But yeah, notice. Kings of Rock and Pop. And the only rock person there was Aerosmith. I'm sorry. I just realized I said it myself. Rock and pop. Not rap. Pop. Anyway. And I'm trying to figure out why Nelly was there. But I enjoyed it. 2002 was U2, and the theme was tribute to those killed in the September 11th attacks, because that literally was the first Super Bowl after, because September 11th, it was 2001. 2003 was Shania Twain and No Doubt, featuring Sting. Okay. I don't remember this. 2004, Janet Jackson, Kid Rock, P. Diddy, Nelly, and Justin Timberlake. That was the infamous one. And the year after that, it was Paul McCartney. Year after that, it was the Rolling Stones. Year after that, it was Prince featuring the Florida A&M Marching Band. Hey, fantastic one. Year after that, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Who asked for this? Year after that, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. 2010, The Who. 2011, the Black Eyed Peas featuring Usher and Slash. When it comes to Slash, I will say this. It's always funny because as soon as he takes his glasses off, you're like, oh, there it is. They're like, wait, Slash is black? Yes, he is. The year after the Black Eyed Peas, it was Madonna featuring LMFAO, Cirque du Soleil, Nicki Minaj, MIA, and CeeLo. Year after that, Beyonce featuring Destiny's Child. Year after that, Bruno Mars featuring Red Hot Chili Peppers. Year after that, Katy Perry featuring Lenny Kravitz and Missy Elliott. Year after that, Coldplay featuring Beyonce and Bruno Mars. Fantastic. Year after that, Lady Gaga. That was 2017. It was in Houston. I don't remember y'all saying like, how the hell you gonna come here? Where Beyonce? But I think it's because Beyonce was just there the year before. Year after Lady Gaga, Justin Timberlake featuring the Tennessee Kids. It was in Minneapolis. Now I'm gonna say this. Y'all could have just replayed Prince's halftime show and that would have been great. Because it was in Minneapolis. Never mind. Year after that, Maroon 5, Travis Scott, Big Boy. This is the one in Atlanta. Year after that, 2020, Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, featuring Bad Bunny, J Balvin, and Emmy Muniz. Jennifer Lopez could have stayed home. The year after that, The Weeknd. No one else, just The Weeknd. Still can't wrap my brain around 2021 with The Weeknd. I'm just like, who picked him? But here's the thing about, for me, I'm only this person. I keep forgetting, I'm like, oh, that's a Weeknd song? I do it every time, and I'm like, I sound so silly. 2022, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. 2023, Rihanna. 2024, Usher. 2025 will be Kendrick Lamar. Now, so around the time that Jay-Z was involved, could have swore it was 2021. Hold on. So it's been since 2019. I had to see when it was. So yeah, 2019 was, I think, the first. Yeah, that's when he started. And that, like, Maroon 5, Travis Scott, Big Boy. But here's the thing. I'm gonna say that they said 2019. And you're like, well, 2019 was Super Bowl 2019. The halftime performer was Maroon 5. The halftime performer is usually picked the fall before. So technically this is picked in fall 2018 when Jay-Z wasn't involved. So basically all of the halftime shows from 2020 on has had Jay-Z's involvement. 2020, let me say that again. 2020, Shakira and Jennifer Lopez featuring Bad Bunny, J Balvin, and Emmy. This was in Miami. Totally made sense. Super Bowl 2021, it was the weekend. It was in Tampa. I think the weekend is from Florida. Wow. I didn't realize they went from Miami, Florida to Tampa, Florida. Year before. That's interesting. Then 2022 was the Dr. Dre one. 2023 is Rihanna. 2024 was Usher. And then 2025 will be Kendrick. Do you see how blackety black and brown this lineup has been since he has been involved? But y'all don't want Jay-Z involved. Okay. And I'm saying as somebody who's a Wayne fan. Wayne has said anti-black stuff. He has also had trouble remembering his own lyrics. I think this man has been close to ODing and passing away. Would I want him informing the halftime show? Absolutely. Do I think this was his year? No. If you're going to sit here in my face and say after the year that Kendrick has had, and you have not watched that prom concert when he did a concert a few months ago, and it was hot as hell, it was in LA, it was super lit. Shout out to my girl D from Bad and Boozy. Her house is so nice and them cribs was so good. You look at that and tell me that you don't think he could master a halftime show again. You know what? I have a casino in Vegas to sell you if you think that he can't do it. This was not a slight to Lil Wayne. Would I have loved to see him headlining, and basically we could have got a Hot Boys reunion. Him and Birdman have finally squashed their beef. We might have got Juvie. Nicki Ass would have been there if you like the lady. Drake would be there. But then it's like people outside of that little circle, Young Money, the Hot Boys and everything, probably could bring in a Future. Do you know how many features he's done with people? And because she is one of his top rappers ever, you don't think Missy would have came out there? I get it. I'm thinking of things in my head, and I'm not a hippity hop person. I'm not a choreographer. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a producer. I'm not a beat maker. But I'm thinking of all the things that come out. I will say though, for New Orleans, and the thing about if this is so far fetched, but I would love to see it. If I'm thinking of New Orleans, and the thing about it is, do I think of Wayne? Yes, but a person I think of that will be so good at the halftime show, but a lot of people don't know them. They know that people have taken parts of their songs and added it to their songs. It's Big Frida. We could have a bounce the Queen of Bounce halftime show. And she could bring out other people. People she worked with, Tank and the Bangers, Kesha, Lizzo, Drake, Beyonce. You don't think she could have worked this out? I would love a big fucking Frida bounce halftime show. But, Wayne is New Orleans. So is Big Frida. Big Frida for me, I'd be like, girl, I'd love a bounce halftime show. More people got to know you, though. If Kendrick didn't have the monster year that he had this year with Not Like Us, I don't think this would have happened. It wasn't last year. He came out with Dr. Dre, and it was like, interesting. Yeah. The thing about it is, I get it. Wayne really is top tier. He's Tunchi, okay? He is. He is. Was this a direct slight at Wayne? No. But the thing about it is, that's the only thing you can grasp at. Steve Stout was not necessarily... Oh, I knew I had something else. Thank you. Thank you for reminding my own self. Steve Stout was not necessarily wrong with Nikki. Not wrong about Nikki. Here's the benefit of all of us not being in the room. Because we're all not there, Steve Stout could tell his story and Nikki could tell hers. But the thing about it is like, where was the breakdown with her and Jay-Z? Because it's like, I feel like she came after Jay-Z because she know he ain't gonna say nothing. He's not gonna do this thing with you. He's not gonna argue with you, girl. He ain't Cardi. Cardi will hop on that social media and cuss your ass clean the fuck out. Jay-Z, not so much. He's like, what's the internet? What's Twitter? What's X? Girl, I don't know. He probably would call it Twitter. What's Twitter? What's that? Well, nothing, because it's now X. But I think the reason why it seems like, I don't want to say Nikki winning, but Nikki can do this is because she know Jay-Z is not going to hop on the internet and argue with her. He ain't. He's like, I'm sorry, that's not making me any money to do so. See how that worked? So, the last thing I want to talk about is the kerfuffle that is Shits and Gigs and Andrew Schultz. Now, I think I've heard about these guys before, but it's two English dudes. They have a podcast called Shits and Gigs. It's award winning. It's a big deal. I think I've seen clips of them previously, but it's not my thing. There are other Black British people that are my thing, but not them. So they decided to go on Andrew Schultz's Flagrant podcast, where basically you will see him hiding behind I'm a comedian for him to say stuff that is literally out of pocket. See, you can label yourself a comedian to hide behind saying something problematic or out of pocket. Well, I mean, it's a comedian. He's funny, no? I don't give a good goddamn what the fuck you do. Saying shit that's out of pocket, it's just wrong. So I'm saying this after the fact. Apparently they went on their show and Andrew Schultz made jokes about black women. They were talking about the black wife effect that was on TikTok, where you saw a non-black man who got black wives. All of a sudden they said, this is my glow up after being with my now wife. See how well I'm doing. And if you remember, a lot of black men felt a way about that. Interesting. Where you've had for decades black men telling black women, some, not all, if it's not you, please do not say, well, I'm not talking about you individually. We're talking collectively. Telling black women they need to step their pussies up and be like these white women, or having a black woman in her arm does not a mark of success. You need to have a white woman or a sexy Latina or a quote unquote exotic woman in your arm to be shown as like, mama, I made it. And when you get on, you can even ask for a white girl. Get down, girl. Go ahead, get down. Y'all thought that was just a lyric. Now didn't you? It's a mood for some people. So anyway, so the duo is called James Duncan and Fuhad Dawodu, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name. So they went on his show, and when he was making these jokes, they were laughing. By the way, they weren't the only two black people there. There was a black man sitting there because he's there all the time, allegedly. So they just kind of laughed. They didn't course correct. They didn't say, hey man, don't do that. Because I think Andrew was saying, like, these black women, like, these men, they pulling their hair out because these black women. I was like, hey man, because the thing, it's so easy to do. And I'm saying that I'm not in a situation where you can be like, hey man, hey, don't talk about our sisters like that. Here's the thing. It's his show, so he probably would have still made the jokes, but your stance would have been a lot more clear. They decided to open up, like, after they appeared, the episode came out, they came on to their show and started by saying that they were sorry, and they said there's no excuse for their behavior. They mentioned fight or flight, and it's like, baby, we have eyeballs. You weren't in any danger. But you want to know why you weren't in any danger? Because you didn't balk at what they said. You didn't say, hey, man, don't say that. It'd be different if, you were seen like, oh, I got to change it up because, fight or flight. It's like, girl. And the thing about it is you can awkwardly laugh at something. Like, let me just laugh because, girl, if I say what I'm thinking, ooh, they're going to put me out. It wasn't an awkward laugh, at least to me. So that's why people are looking at your apology like you're bullshit. That's a bullshit apology. Only because you're playing in people's faces. Do not just, because essentially what you saw in that podcast is literally what we see and what women have said that have had these experiences have said when it comes to black men and habitual line steppers like this alleged comic. Don't sit there and praise me when you know I can see you. Let me know what happens when I'm not there. We just happen to have a camera and a mic. If you think that kind of thing don't happen without no mics and cameras, you know what? I'm like the banker from Monopoly. I'm running out of casinos and vineyards to sell you. I'm running out. Because I'm like, baby, this happens all the time. And this situation is what black women who have talked about this situation is talking about. This happens all the time. They just happen to have the microphone and a camera in your face. Like, girl, like, the thing about it, we're like, for me, I was not surprised by their behavior. I'm like, yeah. Because then it turns into, like, people saying black women are being a little bit too sensitive. I'm like, are we? But if they made jokes about black men, y'all would literally be like, nope, not okay. See how that worked? And then you saw people coming out saying, y'all, of course, black women called them out. Some of the familiar folks were coming out saying what I knew they were going to say. And then, and let me, disclaimer, I like the pivot. I like the show. I always have. I'm with them when they write. Because Channing Crowder, like, literally said Russell Wilson is corny. He's not necessarily wrong. But it's like, the optics of it is like, if you're saying and I don't think he meant it that way, around Sierra, it's like, wait a minute, so he corny for loving this black woman out loud? But if you're talking about him in the locker room, I'm like, okay, girl, I can't speak to that, but okay. It sounded like, when he was in Denver, he had his own office and he had office hours. I was like, girl, how you doing that and you the leader of this team? Okay, never mind. So when Channing was like, yeah, I think when they were talking about Deshaun Watson's allegations, he's like, he's like, 20-something women are not lying on you. It's like, I'm with you when you right. I'm with them when they're right. I remember seeing, like, when the tape came out showing how Diddy was with Cassie, after months of people saying that Cassie was lying. Oh, she just wanted money. When that tape came out, people changed. I think one of the people that I noticed that apologized to Cassie directly, I could have swore, I think it was Slim Thug, who said, I am sorry. I shouldn't have said, he's like, I saw a tape and I was like, I owe her an apology. I think it was Slim Thug. I think it was the only person who apologized or basically retracted his statement and said, I'm so sorry, I was wrong. I should have never called her a liar. A lot of the other folks who were calling Cassie liar, I don't remember seeing y'all say shit. But that's neither here nor there. Moving on. Moving forward. God, I love her. I love her show. So if you're not watching Misha, Measha, if you look for her on YouTube, Her channel was so good. She's really good at recaps, and I like when she says, moving forward. Check out Misha. Shout out to Natalia for telling me about Misha. I remember him saying, men who hit on women are bitches. He's not wrong. But I'm going to widen the view on that. So, he's absolutely correct. Here was the thing that gave me pause. A few weeks before, their guest on the pivot was Floyd Mayweather, a man who has allegations of putting his hands on several women. He also went to jail for one of this, not for a long time, maybe a few months. And I remember when he said that about, if you hit women, you're a bitch. There's a reference to Diddy. I'm sitting here. All I was thinking was, so did you call Floyd a bitch? Also, I think a week or so ago, he had Fabulous they had Fabulous on the pivot. Did you call Fabulous a bitch to his face? See, it's easy. See, the thing about it is, I don't need you pontificating and signifying or saying things that you think we want to hear when that person is not somebody that you like or admire. Because he did say, I think Andrew Schultz is funny. Anybody like Andrew Schultz, who is a habitual line stepper, people have been saying this for years. I don't pay attention. He's also attached to Charlemagne. People have said, like, girl, he been doing this for a long time. He thinks he's okay. You want to know why? Because he got black men around him who literally don't check his ass. I'm like, wait, time out. Stop. Because you, like, the thing about it, I'm like, girl, like, no one say, talk about your own cultural demographic. Talk about your own women. Not saying that he don't. It's like, yeah, don't talk about, keep black women out your mouth. Keep black women out of your mouth. Unless you're servicing them. And you know exactly what I mean by servicing. He's a habitual line stepper. You want to know why? Because he's always had to co-sign a black man who've never checked his ass on it. I don't think Charlemagne has said anything yet. He may have. But I think it more like people are speaking it to the duo and not the fact like, yeah, but y'all not. See, the thing about it is Andrew Schultz. And then he started clowning them and saying, well, y'all ain't say take it out. Sir, then the onus of what you just said is not on you. It's on them. Well, you ain't tell us not to edit it. Bitch, you still said it. What do you mean? What do you mean? Girl, fuck you. It's their fault. Because, well, I mean, if you felt was so offended, like they were clowning them for the apology. Like, if you thought it was wrong, why didn't you ask us to take it out? Sir, this is not their content, it's yours. That's your platform. As someone who has a platform, I'm going to tell you this right now. And I'm very much cook on this. I ain't editing shit. That's how I feel. But if I'm in the conversation, I'm listening back, I'm like, I don't like the way this sounds. It's my fucking content. I'm taking it down. The person that's on there may not even know. Because we just joning. We just going. We are vibing. They might not even remember this episode, but the conversation. But I do, and I don't like the way it sounds. So to actually blame them and say, well, you ain't tell us to take it down. We ain't think it was an issue. Baby, that's the problem. You think you can actually say what you said and think that shit is okay. And then well, they ain't tell us to take it down, so it's fine. Girl, shut up. That's ridiculous. So as much as I like Ryan Clark, and I do, sir, you can sit here and do this. And I'm like, Ryan, you might want to back off. Because the thing about it is, his monologue about black women is not wrong. It's not. He's actually correct. It just... Do not use these guys to pontificate or to say things you think we want to hear. Girl, I don't need you to get on the mic and say that. Show me by your efforts when the camera not in your face, when ain't no black women around you. What you saw with them two and Andrew Schultz is usually what happens. Y'all don't check these non-black men when they say shit to black women. Why? Because y'all do it. And I'm not the person who originated this, but I agree with this. When people say, you want to know why non-black people really have no problem disrespecting black women? Because black men don't check their asses about it. Like, who the fuck you think you are saying that? Y'all don't check them so they don't feel like they wrong. They're like, well, y'all, why? Because y'all talk about us. Y'all bad mouthers. Y'all make fun of us. Y'all make some of them jokes. Let's be very clear. Some of them jokes that Andrew said, the exact joke is not the same, but the theme of the joke, I have heard from black men saying that shit. So where do you think he heard it from? He ain't make that shit up. Y'all don't protect us, so they don't feel like, oh, okay, we can say what the fuck we want. It didn't even occur to y'all, did it? People have no problem attacking people who are not protected. Do you see Andrew Schultz shitting on Italian women? I'm saying Italian. I don't know if this man's Italian. Let me not. But his demographic, I'm sorry. Does he sit around and talk about his demographic of women? Do he? I don't think he do. So the thing about it is, what we're not going to do, I think the thing about it is like, he ain't shitting on his demographic. Why do you think he's okay to shit on ours? Because y'all don't check. That's the thing. People learn lessons the first time. Because if somebody had cussed his ass clean the fuck out the first time, he wouldn't feel so comfortable. And because he can hide behind the approval or cosign of Charlemagne, and all the black men said, it's just a joke. I don't know why y'all so sensitive. That's why he continue to do it. That's why he can clown those two men who literally are trying to say it was fight or flight and we just didn't do anything. And I'm like, I need y'all. That's it. I want to know when Francesca Ramsey is going to open up her boutique apologies business. Because when I tell you, y'all need help. Y'all need better PR people. Y'all might want to find some people who literally could help you. Because in my mind, another thing about it is I have been in rooms. I can say that. And I understand being in a room and not feeling like, oh, I can't speak up. The thing about it is those two were in a room together. Like if it was by themselves, I'd be like, girl, what the hell? If you were by yourself in a room full of people, by yourself, can I give you grace? Of course. And even then, I can still give the dudes grace right now. I can. If I'm thinking about an apology, that comes out and people are like, girl, why you ain't say anything? I'm not going to use fight or flight. What I would say, though, if people questioned why I'm like, wait a minute, girl, you say you about this, but, actions speak louder words. You can say you're doing this. And this comes up, I would say, you're right. Everyone who just called us out, you're absolutely correct. I look back at that and going, damn, we said we are this way and we are not. We disappointed you. We let you down. We said we are this way, and then in practical application, we're not. And we are sorry. Notice how none of that is putting on anybody fight or flight, and I'm like, let me give you a reason. If you're saying there is no reason, don't give me. If you're saying there is no excuse, fight or flight cannot come out your fucking mouth. You're like, everybody who called us out was absolutely right to call us out. Period. We were wrong. You're right. I'm going to have to sit with this because, I Like, we are wrong for this. Here we are telling y'all that we gonna do that, and then practical application, couldn't do it. Because that puts the onus back on you. Not saying it was cloudy, I had a migraine, I didn't take my sinus medication, it was cameras on, I was hot, the fan was... There's nothing to do with it. You dropped the ball after saying this is what we're about. We dropped the ball. And if this has tarnished your thoughts about us, I can understand why. Because we let you down. We are sorry. And we're going to work to actually regain your trust. See how that actually shows that you actually give a fucking damn? And that you're actually saying, it don't matter the surrounding things. I fucked up, period. You can pay me. I'd help you. The bad part that I said, I am literally advocating for a black woman to fix this situation is so laughable to me. And I'm like, God, it's so crazy that I'm still like, yeah, black women need to fix it. You want to know why? Because usually we have to fix it. We have to show incredible amounts of grace to people who have not extended to us. Ever. Ryan Clark's monologue about black women is absolutely correct. I just kind of squinted when he did it. I'm like, it's easy to do that in this room. When you're on, like, girl. It's easy to call after you watch a video of Diddy allegedly assaulting someone, calling him a bitch. But have no problem having Floyd Mayweather, and I get it's a sports show, and I get why. It's like, well, he's an ex-boxer or current boxer. He's an athlete. It's an athlete podcast, an athlete. I get it, but I don't know if you even brought that up, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. I don't think you would call Floyd Mayweather a bitch to his face unless you literally you're like, I don't need my jaw. I don't need y'all just saying words. I need actions. Because the other thing that got me for the pivot is that when Tim Anderson was on that show, it was literally like, y'all were extending him grace and not raking him over the coals. But for me, it looked like y'all were trying to make it seem like he's the victim here. Because people were clowning him or speaking out, because now the fact that he had a whole multi-year affair and a whole other child outside of his marriage is public. And y'all saying, oh man, this is tough. What's tough? Sir, you made a choice to cheat on your wife. You made a choice to have a relationship with a woman out that was not your wife. You and that lady have a whole baby. You are not the victim here. She is. You are. Oh my gosh, this is coming out, and this is a lot. Sir, that's why you should have literally kept your dick in your household. See how that works? You're not the victim here. And it's like, on one hand, I can understand, because, you know, giving grace. Because mind you, I'm giving grace to Janet Demita Joe Jackson, right? Hey, hi. I'm still saying what she said was bozo. She's a bozo for what she said. But I'm not going to do this whole like, oh, this is girl. No. She's a bozo. What she said was bozo behavior. But she's in a good... she is not alone on that ledge, Miss Watson. And y'all let other people cook. Some of y'all actually let Donald Trump go, well, he got a point. I'm like, time out. Yeah. We're buttoning it up. Let's button this up. I feel like Andrew Cohen the way I just ended it. But Sounds like we have a show. Solo dolo. I promise y'all I'm getting back into my rhythm, I promise. Thank you for sticking with me. Shout out to my family on both sides. It's been, I don't think it's happened. I am 43, so I don't think in a short amount of time, both sides of my family, maternal and paternal, suffering a loss. 2 lights went out. 2 lights that burned brightly, but differently. A young woman who lit up a room, smiled all the time. Her life was no crystal stair, but her eyes and her smile brightened every room. A man who served our country and was a caregiver to a lot of people. Was a mighty man of God at a church for 40 years or over 40 years. Is leaving a huge hole. He's gone on to glory. A man who loved God, a man who served him, a man who was a father figure and father to a lot of people. Father to a few, father figure to quite a few. Both of these celebrations of life were beautiful. What touched me about my uncles is seeing in a room full of people a lot of black men and women who served in our military, honoring him with a salute. Because all I thought was, you let movies and certain white people tell you black people aren't in the military and we're not patriotic and we don't love our country. All of my vineyards and casinos are sold, so I can't sell you anything else. But in that room, I saw many men, not any young ones, by the way. These men, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, stood up and saluted my uncle in one of the big ways to show another soldier, veteran, respect. Just highlighted. I really wish y'all would stop trying to push this narrative that black people aren't patriotic. If we weren't, we'd have burned this country down by now. Imagine. My uncle was born in 1934. 1934. Meaning he was born during Jim Crow, segregation. The Civil Rights Act is from 1964. He was an adult. There's a lot of black people who were born before the 1960s. So please stop telling them you don't know what it was like for this country. I'm like, man, make America great again. When they can remember a time when they were not able to literally walk past a white person and not have to do anything they don't tell them to do. White person can walk up to a black person, tell them to smile at broad daylight. You don't even know this person, and you would have to do it. How dare y'all? How dare y'all say that about black people and patriotism? I need y'all to grow up. Because there are 70, 80, 90, 100-year-old black people who remember what this country was like before people said that's enough and we want this. And they had to fight. Please stop thinking that black people and people of color have rights because some white person just wanted to do it because they were nice. Please understand, had to fight for every single one. One that I don't have to fight for anymore, but somebody like my uncle did. Somebody like his classmates did. He was the 1953 class president at high school that I also went to. My mother went to. My grandmother went to. 1953. I'm going to say this again. Civil Rights Act 1964. Because of people like my uncle, I can get on this mic and say whatever the fuck I want, and no one's going to come in my house and attack me. I can walk out this house without holding my head down because I can't look at a white person in the eye. I can go where I want. I can drive where I want. I can shop where I want. I can work where I want. I can graduate. I have a college degree because someone fought for me to do so. It's part of the reason why I'm going to say this. Vote. And I get like, oh, you don't want people to make you feel guilty if you don't vote. Again, it's your choice. I'm not even going to knock it. But please understand, when we say people fought, got harmed, and or unalived just because you can choose to do something, I will not act like that is not a big thing. Because let's be very clear. Before 1920 and women were allowed to vote, free black men were allowed to vote because they let men vote. Black people became free. Free black men were able to vote. They started putting like black people in office. White people didn't like that, so they started giving quotas. Count these jelly beans. You got to do this. You got to have that. You got to have that. Because let's be very clear, poor white people couldn't vote either, so they opened it up. That means it opened up to free black men. So for the women's suffrage movement, it wasn't necessarily to be equal to their husbands. Some of them were. But let's be very clear. The light bulb was, wait, you're letting niggers vote before me? Because there's always been a rumor that Susan B. Anthony, there's a quote, I don't know how real it is, I'm not sure, that she was like, no nigger, like basically I would walk on my own Facebook foot and let a nigger vote. It was never about them. It was never about being equal to, and it's, okay, this is just my opinion. I'm not heavenly. I'm not going to say it and take it back. This is my opinion. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. White women didn't fight for the right to vote to be equal to their husbands. They fought for the right to vote because niggers were able to. Male niggers, but niggers. It wasn't about being equal to your husband. I think Mary Poppins, because that was, I think the wife was involved in the suffrage movement. They made it seem like it was about their husbands. For some women, it probably was. But for some women, it's like, no nigger should be able to do something that I can't do. Vote. If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying to discourage you not to. They wouldn't be putting blocks in place to stop you. And if you have people who are apathetic about voting, please understand that may be a result of direct and consistent voter suppression. It's not just because they don't just want to vote just because. You've been held down for so long, after a while it's like, well, there's no point in doing it. What's the point? See how that work? So thank you all for listening. And I will be back next week. Thank you all again. Bye 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 bye.